The Sheldon Show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Crypto Banter. I am Sheldon the Sniper. Just before we do get started, guys, what is up for the show today? What are we going through? Obviously, we could see we've gotten a recent bounce in Bitcoin. And what are we basically waiting to see if this V-shaped recovery does happen. Remember, we got a little bit of a roadmap that needs to get us there. So we're going to be going through that today, going through a nice full chart update for everyone. Let's just adjust here and get a nice full understanding. Plus, guys, what I want to say is we have restructured this whole show. We have now, we've been teaching a lot of education. We've now started to understand that there's different sorts of crowds that are out there, investors, short-term traders. There's so many skills that we need to learn in this. Let's get this chart off over there, that we need to be learning in this industry, in the zone. And what we've decided is, every day I'm sitting and I'm teaching structure. I'm teaching us about our psychology of trading. I'm teaching us about the spot trading, all of our wallets. I just want to see if everything is in play. And what we actually started to learn was, we need to bring some more structure into the show. We need to bring more stability into the show to understand that there are different types that are out there, and we need to start categorizing and build this powerful show. I keep teaching structure about as a trader and keep teaching all these things. We need structure to the show. And this has come up across us, and it's excited us now, because now we are going to learn, and how we're going to work together now is to get all different traders in the market. If you're a long-term, if you're an investor, if you're in short-term, if you're a yield farmer, if you're in all of those, and we're going to incorporate all into the show so that we have a set structure every day, plus the knowledge, plus the education, guys. So the first thing I want to say, guys, the first thing we need to be doing is we need to be hitting that like, hitting that subscribe button, following myself on Twitter, Sheldon_Sniper, following Ran on Twitter, CryptoManRan, following us on Instagram. Why, guys? Why? Firstly, it's going to give you very key updates of anything that's happening on the show, as well as chart updates, and as well as really good crypto information. It also qualifies you guys to be getting into the banter bags. At 500,000 subscribers, we are going to be giving this away to the public. If it's 10, if it's 20, we will decide. Obviously, we are being very clever as traders, and we are putting these in at the right time in the market. We've had a strong dip in the market, and we are also making sure those allocations are put in at right times. Previously, it was over $500,000, which was given to 10 guys, and we are doing the same when we get to 500,000 subscribers. But this one, we're bigger. We are going bigger with these. We are obviously just being very strategized on when we get in on them. So 500,000 subscribers, we are going to be giving that out to the public. That's a big reason. Second reason, guys, we have the Sniper School. What is the Sniper School, guys? We've decided now that the Sniper School is still launching, and we are busy, and we are finishing up with the syllabus, finishing up with everything, and that will be launched as a full course that will take you 30, 60, 90 hours. We have a lot of add-ons. But in the meanwhile, the markets are still carrying on. The market never sleeps. We know now for the first time we have a 24/7 market. And in that time, we need to be bringing small education every day. So we've decided now to split it up, and your dedication is really going to pay off by every day us going through our little sniper's wisdoms. Let's get that up over there, where I'm going to be giving little categories every day and little sections on what's important to understand as we go. So by tuning in every day and be dedicated with us, you are going to learn these little skills every day. Why? Because the chart shows us something every day. I know it may be tough at times on that, but this is what I love about trading. It's not... A lot of jobs are very boring because it's the same thing every day. Trading brings us different surprises every single day. And we know that it's not as easy as just make money overnight. We know that. Sometimes you're going to get it lucky, but we know for the longer term, guys, for the guys that came in for quick money, sometimes you're going to make money, but a lot of the times it's going to shake you out of the market. For the longer term, guys, the guys that are really want to turn this into their life, their living, and want a freedom of life. Why do I love crypto so much? Because I do this every day. I literally trade every day. I share my knowledge every day. I don't work. I get up when I want. I go travel when I want. I've never traveled so much than what I have in the last 6 months. And I love the freedom. I've learned that time is the true currency and not just money. And that's what crypto brings to us. It gives us new hope. The problem is, even as in South Africa, they're looking at now bringing lockdown back to level 5, which means everyone's at home, everyone's sitting at home, no one can work, salary deductions, we don't have control anymore. And this is why I decided to learn the skill that if the whole world is shutting down, I can still attempt to change my life and I can still attempt to do these things. And this can do it. We are just learning that the impatient do not succeed in this market and the patient do, guys. So very, very excited. Hit that like, show some love, because we are about to bring, and this new transformation of this show and Rand show and bringing full structure to this, we are the best YouTube channel that is out there. And I'm going to show you guys how this is actually going to work and how this is the most powerful. Firstly, guys, you need to understand one thing. Why is everything for free? Because we don't need to do this for the money. We don't have to do any of this for the money. We love sharing and bringing hope to this world, and to share this, and to show you that when times get hard in life or in trading, you have support, you have a structure, you have a community. That's the whole goal for this, is to build the most powerful and loyal community in the world. We got each other's back. And yes, there's going to be the salty people, and there's going to be anyone in between, and that's fine. There's always going to be someone upset or something like that because we are doing things for free. Guys, I've experienced a very tough loss in the last 6 months. I want to share the love. I don't want anyone to feel the way that my father and all the people felt before with this whole lockdown thing. I want to bring hope. I want us to show that we can do this. And if you stick with us and you join this community and you're with us all every day, you're going to see how we get through everything. Bad times, good times, and how we're going to enjoy it all together, guys. So welcome. I am Sheldon the Sniper. First thing I want to get in, let's get into the charts. Let's get into see what is happening with the recovery right now. And what is the goal for Bitcoin to be doing now? So we had a short-term retracement, nothing unhealthy. We do have 2 scenarios that can still play out. We know that it was very important that the last few days that Bitcoin made that lower low. Now we have 2 scenarios that firstly, that could have been the low. Why? Because they liquidated all the shorts. Everyone was going long when Bitcoin was getting to $30,000. So why send it to 29? So that you can liquidate the guys, exchanges make the money, and then they reverse it back up. Now, all the guys that got liquidated in their longs are buying up at higher prices. So what I mean by that is now the price exceeds up. People start buying in. What do? They send the price back down. It's all a game. We are understanding this. But someone is buying. People are still buying when we get to these zones. And that's what we saw clearly. Let's get in there. Where 2 days ago, when we had that big dump, where we had this big volume come in. Let's get that there and get the volume. We had volume start to come in, and we had a reversal. Someone bought when Bitcoin went to that zone. And we spoke about it, that in the total market cap, we had $200 billion come into the market when we reached those lows. Guys, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to come in. So who bought? Who bought at these times? And these are the sort of things that we track every day with TA, and to see that these are the certain, remember what TA is, end of the day. It's removing emotion out of the market. Now, to become a successful trader in any sort of, especially in this industry, is to be powerful fundamentally and be powerful TA-wise, because that's the 2 different skills you get in trading. Now, if you can have both of those skills, you're going to see the powerful structure that you're going to build. So with Bitcoin now, let's go into the smaller time frames and start to have a look to see what is getting in. And once we're done with that, guys, I'm going to then go through this new structure of what we're bringing to the platform and what we're bringing to the show, guys. So if I get that on there and get that in. So what we are getting now is when we had this big push up from Bitcoin now, okay, we made the simple lower time frame higher high, which was great. And then we started forming the sort of bull flag. We just attempted about half an hour ago to break that flag. But to continue on what was said yesterday is we are still on our route to get to that 36, between, call it 35,500 to the $37,000 region is where we see Bitcoin making its way up to those zones. Which means that last week, doesn't matter the entries we got then, in 1 week later, the price is nearly back to those zones already, which teaches you the skill that don't panic out when the markets, remember that if we break support, we come and test resistances. Resistances are there to sell. That's what resistance are there for. Breaking support, that is a key indicator. But when we're reducing and we're just continuing down, guys, to sell in there, you can see how quickly it gets bought up. Because someone's buying your, remember, someone has to lose for someone to win. So they take your coin straight from you, build it straight up, and you end up buying at a lower point. So the first big rule that we have learned in the last week is to control that fear when it is coming down. This is where we say, shut off your laptop for the day. Tomorrow you make the decision. because whenever we break key levels, we come down and test them again. Now we are on our way to the zones, and this is still the play that is playing out for now. And I'm going to give you the two scenarios that can play out: the bullish and the bearish scenario that we can look that can start playing out. Okay, and where we're looking at is I'm still working on this inverse head and shoulders, where Bitcoin still makes its way up to the 35,500, the 37,000, anywhere in that zone. Then we have the higher time frame RSIs. Well, your medium term RSIs, your 4 hour, your 8 hour, they start reaching to the top, which means we are going to have a bit of a pullback sort of zone. And that's where I see a nice little farming opportunity now for the shorter term traders, for the medium term traders, where we selling out at this zone, $37,000, and we are buying back between the $32,000 and the $33,000, which now give us another 10, 15% more Bitcoin, and then we continue the run. Okay. Now, what we do need is we have this little bull flag. And what is a bull flag? When we have strong acceleration to the upward side, we then start the sideways movement, and it becomes simple by drawing one line at the top, a resistance line, and one line at the bottom, a support line. It's very simple. We break the top line, we go straight up to the next target, which are the next resistance points, which is that $36,000, $37,000 region. Okay. We break support, means that we are coming back down to these zones again. Remember that this price did accelerate very quickly. So you could see this previous candle we made yesterday in the zone over here. This is very, very fast to the upward side. Okay. So what do they usually do? It creates imbalance in the zone, which means that when something moves too fast, at times they bring it back down to come capture the liquidity. What does that mean, guys? It means that the buyers that bought at that point didn't get to buy everything they wanted to. The price exceeds, it accelerates too fast. So slowly over time, they start bringing the price back to that zone, stock up what they need to, and then continue the way up. Remember, institutions and big guys in the market are going to buy when they want to buy. If it's sitting at 40,000, no, they want it at 30. So they're going to make a plan and make it work in a way that they're going to get it at 30. Which means the same thing. When it goes too fast, they don't FOMO in, guys. Whales don't FOMO into the market. They buy when they are happy. Very simple. So the two scenarios that we have is there is strong imbalance from that big move that we made, that strong bounce. So if we drop this little short-time support, we can go back to the $30,000, $31,000 region. Okay. But what we still said higher time frame is there still needs to be a decent retracement. Even if this was a strong bearish impulse wave, we still need a decent retracement of that wave. So if we do come down to that 30, 31,000, we still see from there the push that takes us to the 36, 38,000. So if we don't get it over here today or in this region, and we do make our way down to that zone first, we're still looking at that higher time frame, and then we can make the decision, okay, is it now worth it to say that Bitcoin can go to 24? Because we know now, remember, this is a non-prediction. We literally use print for print every day. Now, if at any point Bitcoin goes to $40,000, guys, that could have been the low, and it could be the reversal takes Bitcoin back to the all-time highs. Again, who can say it's not? Okay. Now, this is how we work the two different rules together. So for today, the main way to simply put it down over here is we are currently sitting in this bull flag. We are now fighting the resistance line now. We break that line, we are making our way up to the 36. We break the support, we can easily go back down to the zone. But bigger time frame, we still see, let's jump in there to bigger time frame, is we still see from this big move that we have made, let's just get this out of the way. This big move that we have made, we still see us having a retracement to that move. This is a very small retracement. Now have a look at that 4 hour, guys. This is where volume becomes a very powerful tool. It may just seem like it's volume bars, but when you get these reversal candles, which is called a pin drop candle, and you get the volume that's backing it, these are usually reversal candles. So we know that this was a rare, the bull's attempt to reclaim from what has happened. So if we do decide to come back down to the 30,000, 31,000, we still haven't had a retracement, a decent retracement from this big impulse that has happened, which still sees us making our way to the $38,000 region. Now, what does that mean as a trader now? It means that if you are a short-term trader, okay, and you want to be trading now and making the best possible gains on the short term, you have some time to trade. It means that if we break the support, there's a good little farming opportunity of you making another 5% more Bitcoin by selling out in the break of that support and buying back at these levels over here, which will increase your Bitcoin amounts, okay? But as an investor and as a bigger time frame now, this little movement, as I said yesterday, we still see the importance of Bitcoin hitting 100,000 by the end of the year. Now, if it was, that's making 300% from where we are, would you make 300% or 310%? What I'm saying by that, guys, is the higher time frame is showing us that we still have a decent push to the upward side. Okay, so as an investor, this is where we know that the key low, we just do not want to drop that $29,000 level. We drop that, it's very possible we can go to the $24,000, $22,000 level. And as an investor, that maybe starts to sparkle up your eyes to say, okay, that's a 30% on Bitcoin that I can be making. But we first need upward side before we can make that. If this is a strong impulse wave to the downside, this is what it needs to be looking like. We need the strong wave down, the retracement up to 618, and then the next push down. Now, if we work out what is the 618, what is the level from, remember when you're using the Fibonacci tool, guys, whichever direction we are moving in, you'll take it from the top to the bottom, and you can see the powerful 618 line. Where's that 618 line pointing at? The $36,000 to the $37,000 region. So if it's now where we are breaking this little bull flag, let's just erase, clean up the chart. There we go. Now, if it's now, this is what the little strategy was, that when we get to $36,000, $37,000, I'm freeing up a bit of cash. I'm freeing up 50% on my cash for the farming opportunity, to know that we are still expecting this inverse head and shoulders to play out, which means I'm expecting it up, then down, and then push. Now, the difference with us selling a portion at the zone is that if we don't hold that, we could easily come down to those lows. Then it's worthy that because we sold 50%, we're getting another 22% more Bitcoin. Or next scenario where this happens and we end up making our way all the way down to, let's get our little ruler in play there. Where's our little ruler? Okay, anyway, so there we go. Okay, so otherwise we get to the zones where if we go down to the 24, that's a 30, 35% pull. So right now, my little strategy is still sticking that I have the bearish scenario, we break support. Meaning, what is the bearish line? We don't want to go below 32. We go below 32, we can easily go down to those lows again, between the 29, 31 in those zones. And that for a short-term trader can be a good trade, because that means you can make a nice 10% in your Bitcoin. But overall, for the bigger, the more invested sort of trader, is we are making sure that the 29 is holding that previous low. That now becomes a key level. We drop that, we can easily go down to the low 20s. And that's where, as an investor, you'll start to think, okay, is it worth it now for me to doing this little farming opportunity as an investor? But obviously, we have that main support that's tracking that first. So, to basically numb it down is I'm still bullish for today. We said it yesterday. Remember, we are playing on 1 hour and 4 hour candles. So for this to take a little bit of time is fine. It's okay. I'm still waiting for that $36,000 region until I'm making any sort of big decision on my portfolio. Okay. Now, if we break the support, I will then see where we get in, see if we hold those zones, then we can make a decision as an investor. But I would rather, I'm first waiting for the 36, then I'm making a little decision to say, I'm going to be freeing up, because when I'm unsure in the markets and it's sort of playing games, what's the best thing to do? My opinion is to be 50-50, because the market continues upwards, you 50 in and you can ladder in as we make our way up. Or it can drop and we're 50% in the market, but we have another 50% to obviously buy the dips. So the first target obviously is for us to make our way to that $36,000. Then I'm looking at the little farming, and who knows if we are going to bounce after that at the 32. We will see, but that's where we have our 50% and we can track that. Remember that when we are trailing up and we get rejection at these points and we start to trail down, we are going to track that with the trend line and we'll be catching the next push that takes it up. Now, remember, sometimes we've had the trend line fails. It's a fake out, okay? And this is where the importance that is coming through the next, through the shows that are going to be in the next week or two, is the power of teaching you guys as an investor, how do you use your stop losses? As a spot trader, shorter time frame, guys, how do you use those stop losses? Guys, we're going to be teaching everything. I am going crazy with education right now. And every day we're going to focus topic for topic. And we are going to build ourselves into powerful traders. And remember that we are fighting a few months for We are fighting at least 6, 8 months. It can come a lot quicker for that 3 months of crazy life-changing money. Because remember, as an investor, we're all sitting here and focusing so much on the small time frame. This is how the investor's view is looking right now. That was all the growth from Bitcoin, okay? And this has been the pullback. As an investor, that looks like a good buying opportunity. These look like good times to be getting in. So let's separate that. Let's build that. So now we know Bitcoin, we are expecting the short-term push up. 36 is where I'm making another decision, okay? And what I'm looking at after that is I can see that the longs are still increasingly. So right now, everyone is still in the market and they're still looking, they're still bullish in the market. People are buying right now. They're starting to buy up in the market, okay? Now, is this retail or is this whales? Okay, right now, if I don't see a lot of volume, this sort of puts in my head that whales are buying little bits as we go. And when we get that massive green candle that comes out of nowhere is where retail now start to think that it's safe again to start coming its way back in. So the main thing is we know that there is bullish intent right now that is back in the move. Now, if I look at Bitcoin dominance and where we're sitting, yesterday we spoke about that we reached that key level and we got rejection at that level, guys. We started to get rejection at that zone and we can see that clearly that the alts now are starting to bounce back stronger. So we always said it now, well, especially from yesterday's call, that when Bitcoin bounces and we finally get strong momentum to the upward side again, the alts are going to be the ones that really bounce. Why? Because they have they have been the ones that have been bleeding. So now we know that whenever Bitcoin is starting to make its way up now and starting to look strong, that dominance is starting to fall, which means the alts really sparks up my eyes as really good entry points on where we're sitting right now. Now, anything that plays out where if Bitcoin goes possible to those lows, it means that the alts are going to go possible to those lows. But at least we know we're finally starting to reverse that dominance in the right way again for the alts as well. To say that when this market turns bullish, the alts are going to be the ones that really start screaming up. And we can see how ADA today is really starting to move strong and starting to react strongly to the sort of move compared to what Bitcoin's done. ADA has been doing really, really well. And we can start to see that. So where we're looking with dominance is it's still in altcoins' favors right now, which is really, really good for us to understand. Looking at the total market cap, guys, remember, this was still a very key point that we went through on the show, that we held this trend. We had the short little push outs. Let's shake out half the markets, and then we start making our way to the upper. But this was really important that we held this level and we held these key levels and held this main support. So we're still looking good. So right now, guys, it's still a little bit of sit on hands time, and we're waiting for the clear momentum move. But if Bitcoin goes to 36, guys, and we come down to 32, 33, and we get that bounce from that, we then break the 36. Guys, we're on. It means that we are going again, and the bulls are going to try to reclaim those, which means we need to be prepared for either. Remember, all of this hard work is for one damn entry. One entry that you don't have to trade again. And what is that? The guys that bought Bitcoin at $500, $1,000, they don't never have to sell Bitcoin again because they literally got that entry where they can sit back. So remember now, we've been speaking about, I just want to have a look to see where they were sitting at, is our different portfolios. Okay, I see they're not here. Now, we understand that those little portfolios, we have our long-term, and that's where we've been really zooming in here because for higher time frame, guys, we have finally started showing a little bit of weakness in higher time frame. So this is where the investors sit now and say, is it worthy for me getting out for good farming, or is it worth me holding? And then we obviously got our spot traders, which are then making the money quick in and out and using that little structure on making $50 a day, $100 a day. Now, guys, what we want to get into now and what I want to bring this whole show. So we have a basic understanding of what Bitcoin needs to do now. There's not much more to say. Remember, I'm going big on the education. Now, we know 36 Bitcoin, that's where we want to go. Then a little farming opportunity. Or if we drop support, it's possible Bitcoin can go to 30,000, capture reset liquidity. But we went very quick to that zone. But still, 36 to 38 needs to be hit first before any momentum move that can take us down to the lower 20s. We need to have a little bit of a strong retracement or decent retracement for the first time in a while to this big wave, because even if we look at big higher time frame, we've never had a real decent retracement from all of this big momentum to the downward side. So it's very, very important. So same as the alts, everything is going to follow Bitcoin in the same route that it has. The alts are still going to do exactly what Bitcoin does. They just, when Bitcoin turns bullish, we know the alts are starting to outperform. So guys, what I want to chat now quickly. Firstly, we only have 3,100 likes, guys. Hit the likes, hit the likes, hit the likes. Where's our Arnold Schwarzenegger? Let's get him back on.
Stop it. Stop whining. Bunch of banter babies. Smash the like button. Do it. Do it now.
Brilliant, 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 guys. So now we have a basic understanding, okay? And what I want to explain now, there's not a lot of time today to go through everything, but from tomorrow, we are now starting the new structure of this show and what we're going to start bringing to the show. And what I want to start doing now is we are going to separate our audience and make a set structured show every day. Let's get this off. Now, what I want us to start doing now and way it wants to work is we actually haven't had structure in this damn show since we started. Remember, guys, I've only been in this 3 months. I'm not used to YouTube. I'm not used to these things. I build myself. But you'll see how every single time I pick it up. And what we are starting to look at now is we are looking at separating and making sure that we accommodate every day for our spot traders and our investors and making sure that everyone gets their info every day. Now, what I mean by that, guys, is what we're going to start looking at with the show is we have our intros in the beginning. That's great. Then we're going to start separating, going through short-term trades, short-term things for the guys who want to make quick money, wants to make a living out of this and run it and learn with us every day. Then we are going to be shifting into the longer-term trades, the investors. Because the problem is every day I zoom in and I show you guys where Bitcoin is. But this is for traders, guys. This is for shorter-term guys that are looking at the market. This is not for investor. Investors should be a lot more relaxed than what traders should be right now. Because higher time frame, as investments, we're looking really, really good. And what are we going to start doing is, what is the purpose of the two shows? Now, when Rand brings up all these good investment coins and these good fundamental tokens, guys, he's the best in the world at what he does. But there's also calls that get put on that. Like yesterday, I was putting calls on that. And what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to be bringing that, all of those updates, all of that every single day. We are going to have a 10-minute section to a 50-minute section every day where I'm going to focus on the long-term investments. Then the first 10 minutes after the intros, I'm going to be focusing on the short-term spot trade entries. Okay. Now, what I want to now show you guys is this is the new Sniper show. This is how things are going to work from now on. And this is the same way I've been setting up the spot wallets and all of our wallets, that this is the purpose of this. Guys, this is to get your TA education up. Rand increases your fundamentals. Those are the two skills that you can have as traders. So this is to get your technical analysis up, to teach you how a chart works. It doesn't matter if you're an investor, it doesn't matter if you're a short-term trader, to teach you how it works. Secondly, okay, no fundamentals. That's Rand shows. Brilliant. Then we are here to bring you long-term trade, short-term trade ideas, which will be separated from each other. Which means that when I'm talking about short-term trades, the investor is not listening. That's not his rules, not. And when I'm talking about long-term trades, the short-term trader is not listening. This is to equip you guys with the right tools to educate yourself. I am not here to be a signal provider. Yes, I will teach you, but what am I doing every day, guys? I am giving you my analysis on how I'm trading the market. I am not a signal provider and a signal one that wants to give you signals every day. That's not what the purpose of this is about. This is to make you an independent trader and an investor, to take my analysis and to take what Rand analysis gives and you make your own decision. I want to teach you how to do that. I want to teach you how to be skilled. It doesn't matter any signal provider or any YouTube channel that you watch. You can overpower yourself to know if that was a good decision or not. That's the goal of this, not to be, we want to teach you how to fish. As we said, we want to help you make money. Now, the rules from this is keep your spot and trades investments separately. I've shown you guys how our whole portfolio should be looking at. That long-term should be 70%, 20% should be spot, and 10% should be cash. So when I'm going through spot trades, know what part of your portfolio you're trading. If you want to be both, that's fine, but know the percentages that you are trading. And if I'm doing long-term, know what you are trading and know how long that's an investment. Get it away from you. This is for you putting in over time. It's going to make you a lot of money. Be disciplined with the entry, the stop loss, and the take profits. I'm going to give you take profits. I'm going to give you stop losses. I'm going to give you entries for each category that you're focusing. Make sure that you yourself are taking responsibility for that. I teach you every day. Make sure that you are doing that and you are putting that in play so that I can make sure that you are learning the skill. I already know the skill. I already live off this. Whoever wants to question or not, I live over this and I do very well in it. And this is time for me to start sharing that to you guys and understand that why are we doing this. Accept responsibility for your own trades. Keep a journal of trades, lessons learned, positive and negative. Guys, if you're dedicated, you're watching the show every day, make sure you're taking notes on each section. I'm covering these things every day, little bit by little bit. Use the educator and the tools to make you an independent trader. The next step, what's the goals? To bring you the best market updates, doesn't matter what trader you are. To bring you spot and long-term trade ideas, to teach you basic technical analysis, entry zones, take profits, stop losses, support, resistance zones, trend lines, to teach you how to read charts, and to teach you how to make and act on your own decisions, and to be damn simple. That is my goal, because it looks like it's damn art. It looks like it's damn, it's a very tough thing. I want it to be simple for you guys and to make this simple for all of you. So guys, I hope you do love the whole new structure. So how it's going to work is every day we got our intros. Then I'm getting into our spot short-term trades. We are going to be going through that. What is short-term, guys? Exactly what I'm showing you right now. This is short-term. This is the short-term view of what is happening right now, not long-term view. And then I'm obviously going to be going through our longer-term trades. And then we are going to focus on our cash portfolio, on those little RDOs and all of those things. And secondly, what we are going to be adding as well with education, we're going to teach you guys how to stake, where to stake, where to do all these things. We are going to focus every single day on something different on your portfolio. And we are going to start bringing this all together so that we have a set structure show that every day we cover the different sections and it brings ease to you guys. So I know today there's not much education, there's not much, but I wanted to launch this with you guys today. I want to show you that how we are going to shift this and actually have some stability going forward and have a set structure, because I kind of feel that things have been very confusing for everyone. And it's been quite tough. Rand saying this, Sheldon saying this, everything this. It's time to bring that all together and to know that it is simple, and this is where the best way it's going to work, guys. As I'm closing off here, guys, this is a shorter call today. I would love for you guys to keep sending your testimonials, keep sending love, fan mail. We love it. We strive off of this, and this is where we build. Hi, Sheldon. Just another. I've just watched another of your fantastic videos, the Sniper's Wisdom. I know this wisdom's helping a lot, guys. I really, really do. And this is what I want to focus on. I'm truly amazed by your depth of knowledge and ready and easy. And the way you explain it, you're fulfilling me with fuel to continue to improve my crypto journey, to reach my goal, to be a true nomad touring Australia. COVID restricted for elsewhere, unfortunately. Thank you, Rand. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Craig. And thank you for a fantastic team involved in production. Your unselfish gift of time and knowledge is appreciated. So much more the words can say. I absolutely love you. I'm hooked on you and hooked on your show. Guys, that's what it's about. I am done being put on a pedestal that I'm a signal provider and I'm going to change your life. All that I'm going to do is educate you and give the tools. You change your life. You want to change it, go do it. And if you don't believe it, I've done it. I've been worse down, and I've done it. It's time to take responsibility. And if whoever is salty, be salty. It just means you're not changing your own life. It means that you're not listening to what he said, but yet you watch the show every day. Guys, it's time to separate. It's time to build the most loyal and powerful community. And I'm excited to launch this. I'm excited to bring it all to you guys. So guys, all I have to say today is let's keep eyeing Bitcoin. We need a little bit more time in the market and we can make the next. But from tomorrow, the new structure launches. And it's time for us to build the most powerful and educated community out there. From myself, guys, make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe. I will see you all tomorrow. No financial advice.